Oh, I see it this time. Hey guys, this is Charles, the Sports Allegiances podcast. And once again, for Alex Muncy, Aaron McFessel, and Stephen Guerin, we are here talking football. I know everyone thinks, oh, it's the off season, but really it's just the beginning of the 2019-2020 season. So, I mean, obviously a lot of huge things have happened, in terms of Antonio Brown, which we'll get into a little bit later. But the biggest thing late, Tyrann Mathieu to the Kansas City Chiefs. And,
Stop.
Alex is gone. That's fine.
Are we?
Thank God.
We go on without him. We keep pushing forward.
Are we rallying up?
Yeah, we're rallying up. He'll join back in.
So, Alex actually, he probably just got a call, maybe an inside deal. We might know something before anyone else does. Probably not. Yeah. So we're just gonna go ahead and talk about a few free agent trades. Actually, none of our teams outside of the Browns making the Olivier Vernon thing did anything. So, Steve, why don't you kick us off with what are the Browns doing that you think, or they're saving themselves for the draft, or what's going on? They already have a pretty stacked team.
Yeah. I mean, I think we were one of the few teams this year that actually had all 22 starters from Week 17 returning.
Okay.
So, I mean, there wasn't really much we needed to do. We felt pretty comfortable with our team. A lot of the things we're going to do is add depth. Of course, we need defense. We were 30th ranked in the league last year. The only thing that really saved us was we were number 2 in takeaways. So that was kind of a weird outlier in terms of the way they played defense, because I mean we were taking the ball away, but I mean we were giving up a ton of yards.
Right.
So I think the biggest move that we made was Olivier Vernon. I think a lot of fans in New York thought they won the trade. A lot of people in Cleveland think we won the trade. I think it benefits both teams. I mean, the Giants get a solid guard, that's going to play there for years. Who, I mean, he's arguably one of the best guards in the league. To solidify that line, to help out Eli Manning, to help Saquon Barkley, and then the Browns get what they wanted in another pass rusher to pair with Myles Garrett. I think the only reason why I think the Giants fans maybe think that Vernon maybe was a little overpaid, but I mean, when he was in Miami, he had Cameron Wake on the other side, right?
Right.
He had another defensive end that kind of helped him, with I guess his play. He wasn't getting double teamed as much. When he went to New York, he was the one-man show. He was the only guy, and he was playing left outside linebacker, which he doesn't really feel comfortable with. He's more built for being an
hand
end.
in the dirt.
Yeah. He's a more hand in the dirt kind of guy. He's going to be an end, and coming to Cleveland, he's going to be on the right side playing right tackles. He's not going to be on the left side. I mean, if you look at the left tackles in the NFC East, there's some really, really fantastic left tackles. So I think he was kind of swallowed up and kind of lost in New York, and I don't think they got exactly what they wanted. Coming to Cleveland, pairing him with Myles Garrett, I think is a great move for the Browns. And they've been quiet in free agency, and I think that's a good thing. Right now, I think, if you look at all the teams and all the moves that they've been making, it's a bunch of mediocre teams overpaying guys who really aren't going to make that much of an impact on their team.
Preach.
I mean, if you look at Landon Collins deal to Washington,
80. What is it? 88, 80.
Yeah. I mean, are the Redskins any better than they were yesterday with getting Landon Collins? Is that going to make a big deal? Like, I mean, they have Case Keenum as their quarterback. I mean, they lost their best slot receiver to the Jets. And I mean, are they any better? Are the Lions really any better? I mean, yeah, you get a big time, end in Trey Flowers and an aging Danny Amendola. There goes Alex again. I mean, really, in all honesty, like, did the Lions get any better? No, I don't think so. I mean, the 49ers overpaid for a guy who's coming off a torn ACL in Quan Alexander as a linebacker. I mean, is he going to be good? I mean, I think really the only team that made a real step to getting better are the Chiefs with Tyrann Mathieu. That's definitely an upgrade in their safety position. He's going to help out that defensive backfield, and he's going to make them better. But I mean, really, right now, it's a bunch of mediocre teams overpaying for guys who are really in it for the paycheck. And you look at all the teams that are considered contenders, they're all kind of staying put. No one's really making that big splash. No one's really going out there and and really overpaying for a guy, and they're going to let the market settle down, and then they're going to get deals. And I think that's exactly what the Browns are doing. I think that's what a lot of other contender teams are doing. And yeah, it's been interesting so far. It's actually been more quiet than I think it should have been. But
Yeah, and I mean, Aaron, what's your take on that? Real quick, I do want to mention that I personally think the Raiders are making some fantastic moves. But yeah, I agree with you with the Lions thing. I think the Lions best
cash.
move. Yeah,
They're out of cash. They can't. They literally can't sign anybody.
That's fair. That's fair.
Davis, he has no money. It's not a salary cap thing. They have salary cap space, but they don't have, I think, any like real liquid cash. So they actually physically can't sign anybody right now because you have to there's a weird rule about the first year and having money for the first year to actually pay them. They don't have that right now. So the Raiders are in a really weird spot. But go on, Aaron. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no, there's a few moves that I like. But in all honesty, of all the moves that have been made, I don't think one player is going to make, a non-playoff team. It's not going to suddenly make them a playoff team in my mind. Huge moves haven't really been made. I think I do like what the Raiders are doing in the sense that they're building their team a lot quicker than I thought they would.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about Antonio Brown. I'm glad he's not a Denver Bronco, if I'm being honest. But business aside and his attitude aside, all they gave up was a 5th and a 3rd round pick. Think about what they got for Amari Cooper, who on the field alone is not as good as Antonio Brown. They got a 1st round pick for him.
Yeah.
And so they were able to acquire Antonio Brown without giving up any of their 1st rounders. They just signed an offensive lineman from the Patriots.
Trent Brown.
They're getting better. In my opinion, they've gotten.
They're starting to get the core pieces.
In talent, they've made the biggest leap. Now, can they financially afford all of them? Who knows? Antonio Brown is now the highest paid receiver in the league, which I think is a joke. Maybe a different topic for a different video, but I don't know. I like the Tyrann Mathieu trade. If you're the Chiefs, their biggest need is defense, especially in the defensive backfield. I think he's a huge upgrade from Eric Berry. But again, I'll sit here and say that I think Tyrann Mathieu is a little overrated. I think his deal was fair, actually. 3 years, $42 million. Yeah. That's fair, I think. We'll see if he can bounce back to his Arizona type of play, to be seen. I kind of like what the Lions are doing in the sense that, yeah, they're not huge splashes and they might be slightly overpaying, but as a Lion, if I was a Lions fan, I'm just glad that they're doing something.
I mean, yeah, it's been since Barry Sanders, since the Lions have made a huge, phenomenal splash in free agency. So they now that they're making actual moves, that's huge.
They need to do something at quarterback, though.
The Patriots are making the moves that the Patriots are known to make, especially if the Bennett brothers team up.
Yeah, Martellus is coming out of retirement, if you guys don't know, to join his brother Michael. And then, Bill Belichick can coach anybody. So,
yeah, those are the moves that you're expecting to make. I think Steve was right in the sense that it's just kind of a waiting game right now. I think a lot of the contenders are waiting for the pot to come back down to a simmer and pick from there. I think we're going to see a lot of draft day trades this year. Yeah. That's just my gut. I think it's going to be a lot of draft day trades, more than we've seen recently. But yeah, not much more to say.
Alex, what are you thinking on this whole the free agency and everything? And take it away.
It's kind of ridiculous in my opinion. I'm gonna say it. I think the tags should be gone. I don't think teams should be allowed to tag players anymore because it's giving players more of a, I don't want to say a benefit, but more of a
more
reason
leverage,
to sit out. Yeah, leverage. More reasons to sit out for more money. I think that's just a little ridiculous. I mean, I think players are getting their way too much now. I understand everyone's a free person, but I mean, you're there to do a job. like some of these players are not worth the money. Just my opinion.
That Landon
And I
Collins
think,
deal shocked me.
yeah, I mean, Landon Collins, hey, good for you though. I mean, get that, but you shouldn't be worth that. Just my
Yeah,
opinion. I
and
think
that's go ahead.
I was just gonna go on and say that I think Kansas City, I think is going to be a scary team when the season officially starts or the off season officially starts. I think that they're just kind of holding back. I mean, that Tyrann Mathieu deal. I mean, you got a great safety working with arguably one of the best safeties in Eric Berry. So a
They're
young
gonna lose
player
Barry, right?
working.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
Barry's gonna be
I
gone now.
mean,
I think they're gonna cut. They cut him, right? I think they're
No,
gonna
they
cut
haven't cut him yet. The only person they've cut is
No.
Justin Houston.
him. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, Justin Houston, and then who knows what they're going to get for D Ford. I mean, unless they're still going to go after Earl Thomas, there's no reason to lose Eric Berry.
You think Landon Collins got paid per year now that now Earl's going to be looking for 15, 16, 17 million dollars a year.
He's not gonna get it.
No, I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying
He's definitely not gonna get it. I don't think.
that's what he's going to be looking for, though.
Yeah.
And keep going, Alex. Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're good. I mean, it's I'm just feeding off of what you guys are saying, and it's a crazy offseason so far, and free agency. I just think it's a little ridiculous. I think players have too
How
much
about,
leverage right now.
The one more thing I did want to say before I forgot about it is how about the deal that Nick Foles got from Jacksonville?
Is that
He signed a
4 or something like that?
$88 million, $50 million guaranteed.
God.
So that's
It's stuff like that that makes me cringe because I know we have a quarterback in Russell Wilson who's worth every penny, but he's seeing these deals happen. It's gonna make me hurl.
To me, it's more well deserved. I will admit this. It's more well deserved than what Case Keenum got from Denver last year. But to me, it's another team overpaying for a quarterback who can't get it done year in and year out. I love Nick Foles. He's a great sixth man in the basketball equivalent, in my opinion.
Did he win a Super Bowl?
So did Joe Flacco. I mean, he did. He won a Super Bowl. He played great. But look at his track record as far as his success the first time around in Philly, his success in St. Louis, his success in Kansas City. That's a lot of money for a quarterback who probably won't be starting in a year or in 2 years. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's my only hot take.
I think I actually like what the Bills are doing in terms of I think Kevin Johnson. And they're making a lot of kind of Frank Gore, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Frank Gore. Yeah.
They're making a lot of
year.
Yeah, a lot of like safe plays. I think they see New England kind of on a decline, if that's a thing. We say it year in and year out, but I never know. But I think they see that, so they're like, hey, let's load up, get some older players, some veterans who know how to, win games, who aren't going to turn over the ball. In terms of Kevin Johnson, he's a solid corner. Never really stood up to the first-round pick that he once was. But, he's a solid guy. I will say, one thing that's pissing me off about free agency just in general is, as I think all you guys alluded to, these players who aren't worth the money getting the money. And then you have players like, a Frank Clark, 14 or 14 and a half sacks this year. He's had double-digit sacks as a backup before. Just plays his heart out year in and year out and is a true game changer on the field, I believe. But now, with the Trey Flowers deal like Trey Flowers got, you're going to be having Frank Clark not only sitting out before he gets a deal done, but now you're going to want him having, well, hey, I've got double-digit sacks this, and this year. I mean, Trey Flowers got, equal me out here at least. And it's just, and then you have Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson.
It really is a chain reaction. It's a chain reaction. You allude to it. I think it all started with the Brock Osweiler fiasco. Kind of what started the snowball. These players that aren't worth the money are getting paid, and you're talking about guaranteed money. I think that's a big takeaway here. Is a lot of the money is guaranteed now, and you're really handicapping yourself moving forward as a franchise when this player doesn't work out in a year or two. Denver did whatever they could to get out from underneath that Case Keenum contract, but they're still eating money that they shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have to eat that Case Keenum money because he wasn't worth the money in the first place. It's an intriguing league, to say the least, and I'm not far off when I say that my love for the league isn't what it used to be. Just because of a lot of what's been happening in the offseason and a lot of the drama and the rule changes. I really hope my love for the game starts to build back up to where it was, because it's just not quite there. Still love it, but it's I have a sour taste in my mouth after the past few years, not just as a Broncos fan, but as a football fan in general.
I just hope Denver starts doing something, because we need.
I'm fine with them
a whole new team.
What's the point?
Don't rush into it week one or day one, I should say. Just sit back and literally let it come to you.
There's two sets of teams, right? Like when you think about it, there's Super Bowl contenders, and then there's the rest. And do you want to be the middle of the pack that's 6-10, 7-9 every year, getting mid first round draft picks and just being mediocre, or would you rather be 2-14, get a game-changing, life-changing, franchise-changing, top of the draft type of player, and then start to build your franchise and do everything like that? I mean, if you look at it, like the Raiders are doing it the way they should be doing it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they took a page out of the Browns, playbook. I mean, the Browns had 3 first-round draft picks a couple years ago, which turned into Myles Garrett, Jabril Peppers, and David Njoku. Like, that's a stellar draft. That draft's turning out to be really, really good. And now you just kind of continue to build and build and build. And I think just going back to the Browns, I mean, right now, everyone out here is really mad because we expected John Dorsey to make all these moves because he's this master negotiator and, he's awesome at what he does as a GM. And like right now, it's like we were kind of the perennial favorite coming out of the season to win the AFC North, and no one's really gotten better. The Ravens have gotten worse. How many stars have the Ravens lost on defense? The Steelers are going to be weaker. They don't really know what direction they want to go in. How good has Ben Roethlisberger going to be? How much does he have left in the tank? I just
Lamar
think
Jackson figured out.
Yeah, is the league's going to have Lamar Jackson figured out after a off season to watch film and the game plan and do all that stuff? Why do the Browns need to do anything right now? They don't. And why you need to push all your chips to the center when you're going to have major contracts coming up? Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Baker Mayfield. All of these guys are going to have huge contracts. And same with the Chiefs. Like the Chiefs have like a 2-year window right now. Yeah. If they don't win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years, I don't see it happening for a while, because they're going to have to pay Mahomes a mega super freaking large quarterback contract that's going to be probably the biggest in history, right?
Tyreek Hill is going to look for money. Tyreek Hill is going to be the highest paid receiver in the league. Look at what Antonio Brown just got, and Tyreek Hill is going to want more.
Yes, exactly, right? So, like, what are the Chiefs going to have in terms of cap room here coming up in the next year or two, right? Like, they have to be smart. All these teams that are really young and have talent, like, they've got to be smart with their salary caps. I think that's why you're seeing a lot of these teams going, hey, we value our quarterback position way more than we value anything else, and we better have money. We better have money for a guy like Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, all these young stud quarterbacks. You're going to need money for those guys coming up. So, like, I think teams are kind of hesitant and sitting there saying, maybe we can get some value. Maybe we keep building through the draft. And maybe free agency isn't where it used to be. Four free agents last year ended up being Pro Bowlers? That was it. I heard that today. Like four.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
4 of all the free agents signed ended up being Pro Bowlers.
That's because they're getting the money. They're getting the money, and
they start getting lackadaisical.
Yeah. Football definitely isn't what it used to be. Like people like Tyrann Mathieu said it right today. He don't care about the money. He just wants to win a ring. Cool.
Yeah. There's that. And then on the other side of the coin, it's Landon Collins. Do you think Landon Collins went to the Redskins to win? No. He went there because they were going to give him the biggest contract. Because they gave him the most money, and that's just how it is. And hey, you know what? Go get your money. Like, I'm not mad about that. Like if that's the way, if that's what's more important to you, hey man, you're putting your body on the line. This is your livelihood. If you want to go out and get paid the most amount of money, and it doesn't matter what team gives it to you, just as if it's the most that you can get, go get it. Go do what you need to do.
You know, one thing that I love, it's really hard for me to say this. One thing I love about what the Patriots do is not once, in my opinion, have the Patriots overspent on anything or anyone.
The number one quarterback in the league took a pay cut a couple years ago.
Who is their highest paid player? Charles, you probably know this.
Rob Gronkowski.
Maybe Stephon Gilmore.
I'm pretty sure it's Stephon Gilmore who's their highest paid player.
Yeah.
And
no, my bad.
That I mean, he has a pretty good contract, but they don't overpay because they have a winning culture and players.
It's one of those things like if you want to come here to win, we're going to
players that are done chasing the contracts. They're done chasing the contracts, and they realize that they're flirting with these mediocre teams. They go to the Patriots because the Patriots win.
Yeah.
Well, they also know that if you request more money, you're going to be shipped to the worst team in the league.
So
the Browns.
No, it's just that's the kind of culture that you know, the more and more I watch these off seasons develop, I have a lot more respect for what the Patriots do in the off season, because players want to play there, and the players that want to go there don't go there for the money. They go there for the rings, for the success, for the wins. It's kind of like what Steven said earlier. All these teams that are the teams that are the first teams to pull the trigger in the off season are spending the most amount of money, and they're spending money to be mediocre. I don't think the Lions make the playoffs next year, and they're spending a lot of money.
Because they don't have a quarterback.
Dude, stop. Matt Stafford. Okay, I can't do this anymore. Matt Stafford, is the toughest son of a bitch, sorry, in terms of at the quarterback position that you will ever see. I am dead serious about that. This man has done what he's doing, and he's putting up numbers that no one's looking at because of their record. Matt Stafford is a solidified quarterback, and he could turn a team around if they have a team around him.
Side note, Broncos just signed Kareem Jackson for 3 years, $33 million.
I mean that's not horrible.
No, I'm judging, as you guys can tell from my emotion. The signing's not putting me over the hill or anything like that, or over the moon, but it's a solid pickup. That they know they need cornerback more than anything else probably, and that's the first move they made. I like it. We'll see.
Well, isn't Kareem Jackson a safety though?
That's what I thought.
Cornerback safety.
So he's like a nickel slot guy.
Yeah.
So that just means Roby's out.
He's Bradley Roby's replacement.
Okay. Well, yeah, you guys need that. But I mean, I don't know. But anyway, I mean, it's hard to say. Of the free agents left, where do you guys think they're going to go in terms of the main ones? You know, in terms of Le'Veon Bell, I think Earl Thomas is a mention there.
Le'Veon Bell will be in Oakland.
Let's spend 5-10 minutes on that.
They can't afford him.
I think Le'Veon. It's hard to say, man. I think he's going to go to the Jets.
They have the money.
Makes the most sense, yeah. He could care less about winning anything.
Le'Veon's going to go to the Jets. He doesn't want to win. He wants the money. They're going to offer him the most. I think Earl Thomas is going to go to the 49ers. I think they're going to offer him the biggest contract. They're going to overpay for him.
I think Earl's going to go to the Colts.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think that Bradley Roby is going to go to the Steelers.
Oh God.
I think that's where he's going to go.
Nothing to worry about.
No, if the Steelers play him in a solidified nickel spot,
no.
I know you guys don't agree with me, and that's fine.
It's like voodoo. It's like whenever anybody puts on a freaking Yankees jersey, all of a sudden they become an all-star. Like
I hate to say it, but it's Raheem Moore 2.0.
All of a sudden, Joe Hayden was dead. He was like literally dead. Like he was slow, tired, old. We just freaking dumped him. We cut him. He goes to freaking Pittsburgh and just like he becomes a superhuman corner again.
But that's what happens in division. I guarantee you put Roby on the Chiefs, the Raiders, or the Chargers, he'll be destined
First off,
to
you guys didn't
destroy
even play him.
Denver.
Didn't even use him.
I think
right.
if the Broncos
that's
end up
all I'm
parting
saying.
ways with Shane Ray, which I think he'll be a free agent, Shane Ray will probably go to Kansas City.
So then what's going to happen to Shaq Barrett? Because he's up too.
I think we already picked up his option.
I mean,
didn't you guys?
Maybe we didn't. I don't know.
I didn't know. You would know more than I do. I don't know. Seriously.
Or maybe it was Shelby Harris. I don't know. Either way, I'd love to see Shaq Barrett stay put. He's a great third down.
I
you
think
guys are
option.
big Bronco fans. Would you rather next year go 1-15 and have the top pick and get the quarterback of your choice, or go 7-9 this year?
How do you know we aren't getting the quarterback?
My
of our choice
honest
this year?
answer is I don't think that 1-15 is gonna. I think you can get the first pick in this coming year. I think you can win 4 games and still get the first pick.
Okay, I mean whatever the record is. But let's just say first.
Honestly,
second pick, and you have pick of the litter when it comes to quarterbacks. And I mean, I don't think Tua's out yet, right? Or no, is next year?
Next year, yeah.
Is Tua? Yeah.
And this is my honest answer. I don't want to see the Broncos roll over at all. Nope. I don't want to see them do it as a competitor and as a sports fan.
But it's what happens, though, man.
You have to start looking towards the future. Happen. You can't compete right now with the Chargers, the Chiefs.
Maybe even the Raiders after this draft.
Fan and as a competitor, I have no respect for teams that tank. I would lose a lot of respect for the Denver Broncos if they rolled over for the number 1 pick. And I don't think that the quarterback's going to come out of the next draft. Honestly, I don't know. I would much rather see them play their heart out week in and week out and go 7-9. In all honesty, I don't want to see them tank. If we go 1-15
season, man.
If we go 1-15 and get the first round pick or the first pick in the draft, fantastic. But as long as we didn't roll over getting there.
So I mean,
the Seahawks 2 years ago went 9-7 and didn't make the playoffs, and we were stuck with I think like the 20th pick overall. That's not fun. I would much rather completely tank and get a play because maybe not purposely lose games, but the only thing we have to say from that season is Russell Wilson has yet to have a losing season. That's it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, didn't the 2011 Seahawks make the playoffs with a 7-9 record?
Yeah, they did. And then they beat the Saints in the wild card.
Such a rarity, though.
That's who's rare. To say? Like, I just don't have.
So
I don't have.
We're not winning the AFC West at 7-9. That's not happening.
My opinion is this. I think yes, we have the best division in football. Other than maybe the NFC West, they got a pretty stout, division. The Browns, they're in a pretty good division too. Who knows?
What about the most competitive division? Real quick, while you're on that,
AFC North.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say the NFC North.
NFC South.
But keep going out. I was just kind of curious.
I don't know, but I think so. Steve mentioned it earlier, and I was going to butt in, but winning culture. Denver, we've had 8-8 seasons, whatever, just above, but we've always won. Or it feels like we've always won with what players, and then the number 1 draft picks. They don't really impact teams. They rarely do.
Anthony Barr to the Jets.
And they're going to get Le'Veon. Maybe they could buy Earl, too.
Oh, man. Okay.
So watch out, New York.
But
CJ Mosley, still on the board.
That's true, CJ Mosley.
So 2 linebackers, 2 inside guys have been signed before CJ Mosley. Now, like Anthony Barr is kind of a hybrid, but, he can play on the inside. Same with Quan Alexander. Like, that's wild that those 2 guys have dropped before Mosley.
How? I don't know how we haven't talked about this. Terrell Suggs going to Arizona.
Good. Get him out of the AFC North. Thank God.
That went so under the radar. That's a career Raven that it's a shame. It's honestly a shame to see him wear a jersey.
It is.
No,
it's kind of similar to a Harrison putting on a Bengals jersey.
Yeah, it's sad. Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, he's
And I think the
terrorized the
Ravens.
city of Cleveland
Yeah.
for decades.
I think the Ravens are low key trying to do something.
The Ravens aren't trying.
And-
What are they trying to do? They've lost Terrell Suggs. They're going to
Eric Weddle.
Darius Smith is a free agent. C.J. Mosley, Eric Weddle, John Brown. I don't. Didn't they? Did they have Crabtree? No. Who did they let?
They let him go.
Yeah, they let him go. Like who's left on the Ravens? Like, do they think they're gonna have this monster?
You guys said it earlier. The teams that sign free agents the first week are paying them.
This isn't the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens have always been the epitome of like consistency, and they have always been solid, and they always keep their players, and they take care of their guys. Like them letting go of C.J. Mosley is absolutely mind-boggling. Like, I figured he'd be a Raven for life. I mean, that guy, he's a stud. He plays
It
a very
wouldn't surprise me
well.
if Mosley went to Kansas City. It wouldn't surprise me. I thought about that.
Who the hell are they going to give him the money? I guess you go all in.
They've got 2 years. They've got a 2-year window. But yeah, no, that's really all I've got.
Well, Alex was kind of in the middle before we started that debate. Go finish it up.
So I think you got to stick with the winning season. Pick up what you can in free agency. Pick up the best available, for the draft pick that you have, and then go after it and win what you can.
I think
because
through the
that
draft
shows
is more valuable than
sometimes
as a Cleveland Browns fan.
No,
I mean you've had one good season.
No, look at the Patriots.
Do
they sign big time free agents every year? No. They build through the draft. They draft guys in the third, fourth, fifth round, and they make them.
And that's what I'm
valuable.
saying. That's what I'm getting at. The first round draft picks are great, cool, but the big star players are second down.
Yeah, well, it's also nice.
I'll give you that.
Of all time.
That
helps.
That too.
Well,
yeah,
I lost my train of thought.
But also, I mean, look, they signed Randy Moss. I mean, they've made those big time moves before. I mean, they've put like their chips in the center, but like I don't know. I don't understand just being mediocre to be mediocre because I don't want to roll over. Like I don't see where that is valuable for a team.
Sometimes you can catch lightning in a bottle. Sometimes you can. Like look at the Vikings from 2 years ago, who made the run to the NFC Championship. That was just a very surprising team. I'm not going to sit here and say it wasn't a good team because a lot of those pieces are very, very talented.
Their defense,
but it was a surprising team that woefully overachieved.
So Case Keenum woefully overachieved.
Look at what the Atlanta Falcons did the year they lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. That was kind of a lightning in a bottle season for them. Sometimes you catch that, and all you need is one. All you need is one good season to revamp your fan base, to revamp your front office, get people interested in coming to play for you. I think there is value to not rolling over and tanking because that's what the Jets do. That's what, well, it's hard for me to say. I don't know. It's what Buffalo does. You look at these teams and they do it year in, year out. The Lions, this is the first year they've actually done something because Buffalo they're tired of swinging and missing in the draft.
Buffalo doesn't tank.
They're Buffalo, Miami. Every year. Yeah, they don't tank. They're just in the division.
They're mediocre every year.
They beat the Patriots once a year, and it's a Super Bowl for them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I agree with – I'm picking something from everybody and agreeing with a lot of what you guys have to say.
For the first time ever, folks.
I mean, I'm the same way, but I just think that you play football to win. You get the money, but you still go out there and try and win.
We didn't, they might play it for the money now, but it didn't start that way. You played it because you love the game and you love to win. And if you don't love to win, you shouldn't be playing football. Plus, I think it's really hard on a team to suffer through a terrible season. It's probably really, really tough on these players to go 1-15 or in the Browns instance 0-16. They bounce back as good as anybody can from an 0-16 season, but that's tough. That's tough on a player. And I think it's if we're not losing, I want to leave, type deal.
But even then, though, like you guys are having 6-win seasons, and you guys are having people question if they should be there. Derek Wolf himself questioned the fans, and then when they started talking about contracts, he's like, "Oh, I love Denver."
Yeah, you question the fans because fans are supposed to support your team, win or lose. And Denver fans, let's be honest, are probably some of the worst fans out there.
He said
And
it, not me.
yeah, when you start, you got to be there to support your team. Yeah, I mean, Case Keenum, I said it from the beginning of the season, was not the answer, but I still supported him for the most part. I called out his bad throws every time, but I mean, I still supported him. He was our starting quarterback. Guess he's going to be our starting quarterback now? Probably Joe Flacco. Do I like it? No. Am I going to sit there and support Joe Flacco and root for him and hope he does the absolute best? Damn right. If he doesn't, oh well.
As a fan base, you can be upset because I understand why the Broncos fan base is upset.
Don't boo your team though.
No,
I hate that.
You can boo the product because guess what? There is no direction. There is no path. Like Elway is just kind of driving blind right now. Are we going to be good? Are we going to be bad? Is Flacco the guy, or what are we doing? There's so many question marks with the Broncos, and it's like, what are you guys doing what is your 5-year plan? What are you guys going to look like in 2 years, in 3 years? Like, I think that's the frustration with the fan base. At least here in Cleveland, when we went 1-31, we knew exactly where we were going. We had a plan, right? Like we had a fuck ton of freaking draft picks, right? Hey. We knew exactly what we were doing. We were building towards the future. We said, hey, you know what? This is gonna suck, but we got to get through this. And guess what? We hit the lottery. We got a Baker Mayfield. We got a Denzel Ward. We got a Myles Garrett, and we were moving forward. We had that plan. John Dorsey came in and said, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start building for the future. Like, there's just no plan in Denver. I think that's the frustrating part.
You can't even for people who aren't fans, I think that's the toughest thing.
You just can't plug and play quarterbacks, or you can't just be like, oh, well, he had a good year. Like, Case Keenum is a fluke play away from being an average quarterback. He doesn't get that payday if they don't win that miracle in Minnesota or whatever. If that Saints player makes that tackle, it's over. He doesn't go to the NFC championship game. He's not the same player. They probably don't they probably still go get Kirk Cousins. Case Keenum doesn't get overpaid. Who knows what that looks like. But I mean, you can't just plug and play these guys and expect them just to be great. I mean, here's the thing, but like, you guys had a fantastic draft. You had a fantastic rookie class. Mm-hmm. Cortland Sutton's amazing. Philip Lindsay's amazing, right? Like, you guys had a very, very Bradley Chubb's a stud.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So you had this amazing draft, and then you just kind of like, oh, now what? We get rid of Keenum, and now we bring in Joe Flacco, and like, we still don't have an offensive line, so we expect Joe Flacco to save the day or be this, stud quarterback. Like, I think that's what's frustrating. Like, if Elway came out and said, hey, this is what we're doing, this is the plan, this is the direction I'm taking this team, you just got to bear with me, I think fans would be okay. But the fact that he just thinks that he can just magically wave a wand and they're gonna be good again just because you go get a Joe Flacco, that's not going to happen. That's unrealistic. And that's unfair to a lot of those players on that team to expect that much out of these guys when you're really not giving them that help. That's all I have to say.
I mean, if you guys have nothing else to say, I think that's a good place to leave it. Denver fans out there, comment and like, subscribe, obviously. But tell us what you guys are thinking. If you guys think Steve and I are batshit crazy, or if you guys, are kind of riding with it. It as a football fan in general, it is frustrating. Just seeing teams be poorly managed, I think, is the worst part of it. He's not saying anything that it is pretty irritating. Like, just be honest. It's fine.
But if you don't want to win and you want to just come out and say it.
Yeah. So, I mean, anyway, for Aaron McFessel, Alex Muncy, and Stephen Guerin, what am I? I'm Charles Jernigan. Fun fact. Sign off.